Hello. Yes, good morning everybody. I hope you're having a good morning. Today is 12th of March. So I want us to start analysis for the day with a chart on our screen. This is Euro USD. The first thing I'm seeing on this chart is that we do have a trend line which has just been broken. The price somehow is still very much below that place. So we have this this trend line here. So the price has not even reached it, so we just want to see price hitting it. We have like support here, we have a support there, we should have a support when the price comes back to the same place. So we just want to see a move to this point and then a bounce off from that point, expecting that bounce to take us at least up to this resistance level. So if you're on this chart now, be sure to look for a buy position when the price gets to this point. So if the price comes up to that point, then that will give us a good place where we want to look for a buy from. Alternatively, you may not see price reach this point. It may reverse also from the upper trend like this one. If this happens, also look for a buy position. If you buy it but the price now proceeds down up to this point, then pick a second buy. Expect that buy to take us at least up to 1.19904. The other chart which I want us to look at is Gbp Usd. This chart has been bearish for some time. You have seen price continue massively after an impulsive move to the upper side. So look at this. Excuse me. So we do have a move up to the upper side. There's a correction, and then there is a big move upwards. Correction, and then we have this. Then we expect a move to the upper side. So this is the highlighted place, which is this, is actually the correction which we last seen. This correction is way bigger than any other correction we've had in the past. You can compare it with this correction. This is smaller, this too is smaller, and then this is the biggest which you've seen so far. So this may be a sign that we may see price continue to the lower side after some times, but first we need to confirm that it is true that this correction means we are continuing to the lower side. So to confirm that, there is a level here. If you want to confirm that indeed this uptrend is ended, expect price to move back maybe slightly, but must not break beyond this point. Then it must continue to the lower side, and then it should pull back to the same place, so that you pick a sell when the price gets to this point, which means this will be the ideal place where we want to look for a sell from. So technically we are in an active downtrend. The price is moving to the lower side. I mean, we are in an uptrend as it is now. What we want to happen is for price to show us that the uptrend is ended, which to show that the price must break below this level, pull back, and then continue to the lower side. The next chart is this. The next level is that, and then the next level is this. These are the places where the price may likely come back up to. So our next symbol is this USDJPY. So this chart, this is bullish. There is no talking about that. This is still bullish, but there is a good trend line where the price must not break beyond. So we want to see sustenance below this trend line. We want to see price remain below this trend line. As long as the price does not clearly break above this trend line, then this will be a good place where we'd like to look for a sell from. So technically we are in an uptrend, but there is a very good resistance level, a resistance trend line, where we need price to break beyond before we can say that this is now continuing upwards. So should the price bounce off from this level, that will be a good place to look for a sell from. I hope what I'm saying makes a lot of sense for us, because somebody is looking at this chart on a lesser time frame, maybe on the 1 hour chart, on the 5 minute chart, is seeing an active uptrend. But whoever is looking at this chart on the weekly chart can see that we are actually approaching a very good resistance level. So this will give us a good place to look for a sell from. So our next chart is Brent oil. So Brent oil, as we said last week, we didn't expect price to actually close below the closing price of last week. That is so far what has happened. The price is struggling to close above the previous week's closing price. If that happens, then that will mean we are now continuing upwards. So that may push price up to this point here. If we should see price close above the previous week's closing price, then that will mean we are going to see price extend upwards at least up to 72.511, where if it breaks above, then this is what we expect to happen: a break beyond, a pullback, and then under continuation to the upper side. So this will be a good place where we'd like to look for a buy from. So this is another place here. We had a support, a support, a support, there's a break, a resistance, there's a break. So the other way, if the price does not bounce off from does not break beyond this level, we want to see a pullback, and then from that point we want to see a continuation to the upper side, which means this will be a good place where you want to look for a buy from. So technically all things are pointing upwards. All our indicators are pointing the same direction. It means that we may see price continue upwards, but only after it breaks beyond the levels which we've drawn this one. Our next symbol is SP500. So this is bullish. I'm not going to talk for a sell on this one. This is very, very much bullish. Let's check 1 hour chart. If you check the 1 hour chart, we have gone beyond the previous week's highest high. This was it. This was the highest high we've seen. This is some previous week's highest high. The price has broken beyond it. We are seeing some pullback. We expect that pullback to take us only up to this support. So technically this will give us a good place where we'd like to look for a buy from. We're expecting that buy to push us up to at least 3953.4. So if you're on this chart now, on the hourly chart, the hourly basis, expect price to bounce off from 3913.5. That will give us a good place where we'd like to look for a buy from. Our last symbol for the day is gold. Gold is bearish somehow. Gold is bearish. So for gold, there's something which is supposed to, we have trend lines which look very significant. Like the first one which I've drawn, this, the one at the top, the one I'm drawing now, and then we have another one from the bottom, this one. So right now, since the price is approaching the lower one, it's much more closer to the lower one than the upper one. We are focusing on the lower one. We want to see price extend up to it. Then we are supposed to look for a buy from that point, at least back to the upper side. So if the price does not bounce off up to this point, maybe it goes up but does not reach this point, then these are some of the places where you're supposed to look for a trade from. Expect a trade from this point here. Expect a trade from this point. So any failure to reach the upper trend line, these are going to be the correct places where you're supposed to look for a sell from. You may want to sell it there, you may want to sell it there, and ultimately you may want to sell it when the price reaches the upper trend line. So thank you very much. That should be the end of our today's session. We'll meet again next week at the same time. So thank you. See you.